Hi, my name is Ben Smith, and I want to do this little recording for the men's magazine Search for the Ultimate Guy. Um, it's a bit rushed, so I have something to kind of remind me about the questions and stuff like that because I just got it yesterday, actually. So, anyways, the questions. If you had to pinpoint one experience or personal reason that fuels you to be successful, what would it be? Well, I was a very, very troubled kid. Um, just a ton of violence and neglect, and um, just I grew up in a very, very toxic environment where I experienced a lot of racism, and yeah, I was not a very protected child with all this violence going on around me, and I was falling up behind in school. I was getting expelled from school. I was getting in a lot of trouble. And I got kicked out of grade five, grade six. I got kicked out of grade eight. I got sent to an alternative school. I was getting kicked out of there. And it was hard for me to find a school, or hard for my parents to find a school that was going to accept me. And I'd been arrested three times. First time I got arrested, I was in grade seven, and I got arrested for stealing at a London Drugs, and then, or I think it was a London Drugs, and then I got arrested for stealing a purse in grade eight, and then I had to do community hours, and I finished my community hours on a Friday afternoon. By Sunday afternoon, like early Sunday afternoon, I'd been arrested again for breaking into a pub to steal a bunch of booze. So it was like less than 48 hours later, after finishing my community hours, I was being arrested. I was in handcuffs. I was taken in a police cruiser down to the downtown police station. And an adjudicator was there. And I remember him saying to me, he looked at my file and he said to me, he was so somber too. He was like, "Kid, you're not going to make it. You're going to be dead or in jail by the time you're 20." And I remember, I mean, I was 15 years old. I was barely 15 years old. I just had my birthday. And I remember thinking, oh my God, something has to change, or I really am not going to make it. I felt pretty hopeless anyways. I'd been just so beat down and so felt like such a piece of garbage for so long. And so I remember I didn't know what I was going to do for school, moving from grade nine into grade 10. I didn't, so that was the summer. Um, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what path I was going to take. I didn't know how to get myself out of this hole. And and it just so happened that my brother came home with a couple of muscle magazines. And I remember looking at these muscle magazines, and it was just like a light bulb went off, and I was like, this is my path. This is what I can do. This is how I can prove that I'm a worthy human being and I can show the world that I matter. And I remember it was just like night and day. I was like, if I commit myself to being the best bodybuilder I could possibly be, I could turn my life around. And I did. I basically it was almost overnight. I just started training. I started eating right, as well as I could back then for what I do. I was still living at home and stuff like that. So it was like chili dogs and stuff like that. But I did the best I could. And it just like, I put on a ton of muscle right away. And I was just like this, all of a sudden became this focused kid. And, but I remember saying to myself, because I had been so broke down for so long and so beat down, I remember saying, I'm going to show the world that I matter. I'm going to show the world that I matter and that I have value in this world and I have something important to say. And I had that vision, or I had that it was a kind of like a mantra in my head when I was 15 years old. And when I went through my life, and I always kind of kept hold of that message. You're gonna have something to say one day, and you just need to find it. You just need to find it. So it took me a long time and a lot of ups and downs, and I fell many times. I had to pick myself up. I failed. I had to ask a lot of questions. Why? What happened? What did I do wrong? Where, how do I turn this around? And I kept doing that until finally, about the time, well, I was 39, and I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and I had to kind of really just find forgiveness for my past and forgiveness for myself for all the things I had done, all the reasons I had kind of felt like I had failed myself, and I found that forgiveness in myself, and I basically turned over. I just kind of turned over a leaf. I said, you know what? I can't focus on the past anymore. I just need to be happy. Life isn't that long. I just want to be happy. And again, it was like a light bulb. And as soon as I did that, my whole life changed. All these things happened. I opened up another. We owned a gym, and I opened up another personal training studio, and I wrote a book, and I did all these different things, and I realized, ah, yes, this is the message I've been searching for my whole life. This is the value I have to share with people. My experience, my life, my experience of experiencing all this self-loathing and just these insecurities and this pain from my past, realizing that I have this message that you can overcome it, you can move past it, you can find happiness, you can live a happy, fulfilling life every day, no matter what your past. You just need to focus on where you're going, which is joy, happiness, passion, appreciation for life. So basically, yeah, that's what's driven me, and that's what's motivated me to open and run the Goliath Foundation, which is my company, which is aimed at mental wellness, mostly for men and boys. And so I don't know if that answered the question, but the reason that fuels you to be successful, yeah. So that's it, basically, to to fulfill the promise I made to myself when I was 15 years old, and I didn't really, and nobody believed in me, and nobody gave me a chance. And here I am, this super happy guy, motivating other men and other people to live these great lives. Okay, so the next question here. Sorry about this. Sorry that I'm reading off a piece of paper here, but um, what is your philosophy for navigating change? Um, my thing is, and I say this in my podcast. So I do the Love and Goliath podcast with my daughter. Um, but my thing is really about creating a sense of self-assurance, ease, and faith within yourself. So if you have that inner strength of knowing who you are, accepting who you are, feeling proud about all the gifts that you have, feeling a sense of ease that you have these inner qualities and inner strengths to navigate the world no matter what it throws at you, and having the faith that things are always going to work out eventually. As long as you never give up on yourself, things are always going to work out. So self-assurance, ease, and faith. If you can, and I have been still like, that's the foundation of my life. And I try to teach that to other people, because I think that if you can build that within yourself, then all obstacles are only that. They're just obstacles that force you to grow and expand and become a more complete human being. So my philosophy for navigating change is to work on developing that strength within yourself first, and then all that other stuff is easy because it's just a part of the game of life. um okay, what's been the biggest challenge in my life and how did I triumph over it? Okay. When I was 23, I'd just gone through a really brutal year of battling for custody over my daughter, my 3-year-old daughter, and um, I got into a very bad work accident that they said I might not walk again, and I had all these troubles. My place had been broken into. I had a restraining order. I was on the verge of being homeless. I was broke. All these things, but I felt like the things would change because I'd won the right to see my daughter three out of every 7 days. And so I was super excited because it'd been like, oh, finally I can have a relationship with my daughter again. And so I went to pick her up and she was gone. Her mom had just disappeared with her. And at the time it was like I was already so on the brink anyways. My mom was in a coma. She was dying. She ended up dying shortly after that. And there was just so much drama, and I fell into a hole. Like I just kind of gave up, and I really really was suicidal, and I was working in a really crazy bar as a bouncer, and I fell into this real deep hole of drugs and alcohol and violence and sex and all just trying to wash away this pain. And and I really, but I had this hope that one day I would be with my daughter again. One day I would have a relationship with her. That was the only thing that was holding, that was keeping me from putting a bullet in my head, because that's what I really wanted at that time. Um, and then I started to get some calls from her mom. So I didn't know where they lived. I didn't have their phone number. I didn't have anything, but I would get these random calls. And slowly but surely, I was able to build a phone relationship with my daughter again. And yeah, so that was a huge huge thing that I had to overcome. And what I learned from that experience is love is always the answer, no matter what the problem. Because I had so much anger and so much rage and so much resentment over what had happened. But I just knew that the only way I was going to overcome this obstacle and actually be able to make steps towards a real relationship with my daughter again, who I just adored, I was going to have to just focus on love, the love I felt for her, the love I felt for, myself. I'd gone through so much, and I was a strong person. I could do this. I could focus on loving my daughter, and if I had to swallow my pride, and if I had to just kind of swallow my anger when I'd get these random calls, um and feeling the resentment, I could do that. So I learned that, okay, what's the biggest challenge? Okay, the biggest challenge was trying to push that, like not push down, but overcome all that anxiety and resentment I felt, um, and focus on love so that I could have a relationship with my daughter. Love so that I could not be brought down. Because again, my mom had passed away around the same time, so I had to kind of overcome a lot of the resentment I felt over that, just with just love. It was love really has been the answer for me in all areas of my life, loving myself, loving my daughter, loving my wife, loving people, loving life. um so again, I'm going to keep looking back at these questions. The biggest challenge, how did I triumph over it? Yes, trying to rebuild a relationship with my daughter when everything had been taken away from me, and love was the answer. And that's what I'm always going to tell people: love yourself enough to love others fully so that you can move towards whatever it is that you want. Um, okay, so the next question. What is my secret to balancing physical, mental, and spiritual health? Well, my secret is I start every day. The minute I wake up every day, I just try to appreciate the fact that I'm alive. I'm I woke up. It's a new day. It's a new day of adventure and excitement. And what's today going to bring? And so that's what I do. I chill out for a while. I live on the water here, so I just chill out with a cup of coffee, watch the sunrise, look at the water, watch the birds flying by, and just really truly appreciate life. So I get myself in a state where it's just like, oh yeah, it's good to be alive, which feeds my soul, it feeds my spirit, it feeds my mind, it makes me happy and appreciative. And then I just naturally want to take care of myself. So I'll do some stretching. Stretching is a big thing for me. I'm religious about it. Every morning I stretch and I do some basic just some basic core strengthening movements. And then I have a glass of water. I have a good healthy breakfast. So for me, balancing all my spiritual, mental, physical health is all about starting off the day just really in a real appreciation for life and all the things that all the adventures and the excitement and the fun and just what life has to offer. And then by feeling that, it just motivates me to do all the other things that are required to do that, which is, good, healthy eating, not ridiculous, not like chicken and rice, but, just a good balanced diet. I like to walk. It clears my mind, it helps me to think. So walking gives me fresh air. Again, I stretch a lot because I bang my body up pretty good over the years. So stretching is really super important to me. And then, yeah, I do some basic strengthening exercises. I love bodybuilding. I've been bodybuilding since I was 15 years old in some way or another. Obviously, I'm not as huge, the big, massive bodybuilder like I used to be, but it's really important to me to be. I just love it. I love the lifestyle. I love the overall lifestyle of feeling good and healthy. And again, because I start the day with this appreciation, to me, it's like every time I do something in 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 terms of feeding my mental, spiritual, physical health, it just feels good to me. It makes me appreciate life that much more. So that's kind of how I balance it all, is just by starting off on a really good foot and then just letting that motivation or letting that energy of feeling good and feeling excited and feeling appreciative of my body and my mind and my spirit, letting that motivate me to do whatever I feel like doing, which is just live a healthy, happy life. Okay, so did I answer all the questions? Let me see here. I think I did. I think I did. But I will also I'll send I will write something out for you guys if that helps. So you have the video, you'll have a little written statement, and hopefully it helps you to find where I should be in this process of narrowing things down for the ultimate guy. Thanks, everyone.